Welcome back to WION World is One. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Heem Corsaroy and here's what we've lined up for you on Speed News this morning. Thousands marched across Israel for third straight day to demand an immediate hostage release deal after bodies of 6 hostages were recovered from Gaza. Upping the ante, the protesters gathered outside Prime Minister Netanyahu's private residence in central Jerusalem, raising banners and slogans. Several protesters also clashed with police, resulting in several arrests. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that he had called a number of families of the hostages who were killed to seek forgiveness for failing to bring their loved ones home. Refusing to move on conditions for Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal, he said that they were close but did not succeed. He also said that he was shocked by US President Joe Biden's comments that he was not doing enough to reach a deal to release all hostages. He insisted that they were out to destroy the military and governing capabilities of Hamas and achieve total victory. Vice President Kamala Harris voiced her opposition to US Steel's planned sale to Japan's Nippon Steel during a joint campaign event with President Biden in Pennsylvania. She said that US Steel should remain domestically owned and operated. Turkey has detained 15 members of a nationalist Turkish youth group accused of assaulting 2 US soldiers in western Turkey. According to reports, upon seeing the incident, 5 US soldiers joined in and the police had to intervene, confirming the attack on social media platform X. The US Embassy to Turkey has said US soldiers are now safe. Russia repeatedly bombed a substation in Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region, causing a major fire, sending billowing black smoke high into the sky. Ukrainian emergency workers were pressed into service to extinguish flames of burning electrical substation. This is part of the latest Russian attacks on Ukraine over the past few days, and particularly its power grid, which have been frequent targets.
Рома, пока не ложим туда, ничего. Да, ну мы не сделаем. Так само на планку.
Members of a Bolivian social movement known as Red Ponchos marched to La Paz, protesting against economic crisis and shortage of dollars. Fuel scuffles were witnessed between protesters and police. The Red Ponchos set dumpsters on fire, threw objects against the police guarding Farmers Union headquarters and hit at least 1 officer, while the police shot tear gas canisters and rubber bullets against protesters. According to government sources, the clashes left 7 officers and 2 civilians wounded. Venezuela's Attorney General's office has said that a court has issued an arrest warrant for opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez. He has been accused of conspiracy and other crimes amid a dispute over whether him or President Nicolas Maduro won the July election. Attorney General Tariq Saab shared a photo of the warrant with Reuters via message on the application Telegram. The arrest warrant against Gonzalez is expected to amount to a major escalation in Maduro's government's crackdown against opposition following the disputed election. Venezuela has accused the United States of piracy after U.S. authorities seized President Nicolas Maduro's plane in the Dominican Republic for violating U.S. sanctions. U.S. claimed that the Falcon 900EX aircraft was bought illegally for $13 million and was smuggled out of the country. After being seized, Maduro's plane has now been transferred to the U.S. state of Florida. At least 129 people were killed while trying to escape from the central Makala prison, one of the biggest prisons located in DR Congo's capital, Kinshasa. Confirming the number of casualties, DR Congo government said that 59 people were also wounded in a fire which broke out in the jail's administrative buildings, food depots and a hospital. The government has said that the situation is now under control and that investigation is underway. After an over 13-hour journey, Pope Francis landed in Jakarta as he sets forth upon his 45th apostolic journey abroad. The Pope was given a grand reception on his arrival. According to the Vatican, the people will continue promoting human fraternity and interreligious dialogue in the country with the world's largest Muslim population. He is expected to spend 3 nights in Jakarta before continuing his Asiatic visit, marking the longest thus far of his pontificate to Papua New Guinea, Timor and Singapore. China has launched a Long March 4B carrier rocket to place a new group of remote sensing satellites in space. The satellites of the WION 4302 group were launched at 9:22 local Beijing time from the Qichang Satellite Launch Center in southwestern province of Sichuan and entered the preset orbit. They will be mainly used for carrying out tests on new technologies, low-orbit constellations. It was the 533rd flight mission of the Long March series rockets. The Peruvian Air Force has joined the fight against forest fires in Ecuador following a call for help. The flames, which started a week ago, have consumed over 4,800 hectares of land in southern Ecuador, forcing evacuations of some of the inhabitants. The Peruvian armed forces responded with water discharge of Mi-17 helicopters and Spartan aircrafts, with a total of 50,000 gallons of water sprayed over the fire area in Quilanga. Currently, 8 active forest fires in 7 provinces are being monitored. Unprecedented rainfall and floods in the southern Indian states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh over the past 3 days have claimed the lives of at least 35 people. Agencies are engaged in relief and rescue operations, and the chief ministers of the 2 states stepped up efforts to tackle the situation. 16 people have been killed in rain-related incidents in Telangana and 19 in neighboring Andhra Pradesh. The Indian Met Department has predicted more rainfall in some parts of both the states for today. Australia has sweltered through its warmest August on record. Several parts of the continent have logged their highest ever maximum and minimum temperatures. According to data from the Bureau of Meteorology, the area averaged mean temperatures across Australia was 3.03 degrees Celsius higher than the long-term average. This includes all-time winter high of 41.6 degrees Celsius at the military base on the rugged and remote northwest coast, and climate change fueling more intense bushfires. Floods, drought and heat waves. Data shows average temperatures for Australia steadily rising. China is set to start an anti-dumping probe into Canada. Now the rapeseed is used to produce oil for cooking or industrial purposes, and China is the world's second biggest importer of the commodity. Trade tensions escalated after Justin Trudeau's government imposed tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles. Steel and aluminum, the Asian nation is initiating measures following relevant restrictive actions taken by Canada. China will take all necessary actions to safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese companies, as per the agency. Goldman Sachs has warned that China's increasingly disappointing economic recovery will delay an expected rally in copper. The group slashed its forecast for next year by almost $5,000 a ton. The sharp drop in copper inventories that the bank had been anticipating would come much later than previously thought. Goldman also cut its estimate for the metal to $10,100 a ton for the next year. The group also pushed back its previous end 2024 forecast of $12,000 to post-2025. Brent oil prices fell on Tuesday as sluggish economic growth in China, the world's biggest crude importer, increased worries about demand. This overshadowed the impact of the halt of production and exports from Libya. Analysts believe that the oil will remain given the lingering Chinese demand concerns. China's Purchasing Managers Index hit a 6-month low in August. Meanwhile, in Libya, oil exports at major ports were halted on Monday and production curtailed across the country. A Texas law requiring parental consent for children while creating social media account is now in effect. The Secure Children Online Through Parental Empowerment Act, also known as SCOPE Act, was being created to give parents more power over their children's digital footprint. The SCOPE Act, however, has come into effect partially at the moment. Why? A federal judge issued a last-minute partial block saying the monitoring and filtering requirements posed a significant threat to online speech. Meanwhile, NetChoice, the tech industry group that challenged the law, has argued that measures like the SCOPE Act require major tech companies to increase the amount of data that's collected from minors. As per reports, China has threatened significant economic retaliation against Japan if it further limits the sale and servicing of chip-making equipment to Chinese companies. Reportedly, Japanese officials were informed that Beijing might respond to these restrictions by cutting off Japan's access to essential minerals needed for automotive manufacturing. China's foreign ministry has expressed strong opposition to what it calls the artificial disruption of global supply chains. In July, Japan began restricting exports of 23 types of semiconductors manufacturing equipment, aligning with U.S. efforts to limit China's ability to produce advanced chips. Brazilians are pushing back against the ban on social media platform X. This has led to a sharp increase in the use of virtual private networks or VPNs, despite the risk of facing fines of up to $9,000 per day for bypassing restrictions. The ban on X was imposed on Friday as tensions between Elon Musk and Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes intensified over issues of content moderation and freedom of speech. Despite these potential fines, VPN usage in Brazil has reportedly surged by up to 1,600%. A VPN protects its users by encrypting their data and masking their IP addresses.
Inicio agradecendo as palavras do vosso excelência.
A 72-year-old woman from the Indian state of Kerala fell for an online scam that cost her $85,000. The woman reportedly received a call from an individual pretending to be an official from the Reserve Bank of India. The scammer falsely claimed that her credit card had been blocked for security reasons, and while trying to unblock her credit card, the scammer stole around $85,000 from her bank account. Similar to other cases where people were targeted by fake officers and kept in digital arrest, the elderly woman was also tricked into staying online, effectively placing her in virtual arrest. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.